Welcome to Sabbath School Lesson Catch Up, a review designed to help you feel more centered and connected. So, the Bible's full of typologies, meaning a person or thing here is pointing to someone or something way bigger later on. It's heaven's trailer before the main event. Take Canaan, review of the new earth. The old sanctuary, a sneak peek of the heavenly one. Those priests, they are understudies for Jesus, our high priest, Hebrews 9:11. Even Joshua's name was basically a placeholder for Jesus. It's all connected. Let's look at some principles of biblical interpretation to assert typology claims. Typology is an interpretation of a person or reality that points to Jesus or a greater reality. Three examples of biblical types here. First, Romans 5 calls Adam a copy or a type of Jesus. Second, Hebrews 8 and 9, the services of the earthly sanctuary were a type of the heavenly sanctuary and its services. Third, in Psalm 22, David says, "My God, why have you forsaken me?" And again, "They divide my garments among them." In John 19, the type David meets the antitype, that is Jesus, whose clothing the Roman soldiers cast lots for. The Bible gives clues to help us identify types and their antitypes. A type must be fulfilled in three phases: in the life of Jesus, in that of the church, and at the time of the end. Let's look at three types and how they're fulfilled in three phases. First, Israel, that is, God's people. Israel left Egypt just like Jesus did. Israel is called God's people, Galatians 6:16. At the end time, the sealed are called Israel, Revelation 7. Second, Exodus. Israel left Egypt, just like Jesus did. God's asking us, his church, to separate ourselves from this world. 2 Corinthians 6. Revelation 18 states, at the time of the end, God will separate us from Babylon. Third, the sanctuary. Jesus referred to his body as the temple of God, John 2. 1 Corinthians 3 reminds us the church is the temple of God. At the time of the end, God will be the temple, Revelation 21. See, the Bible doesn't contradict itself. Moses and Joshua's stories seem to follow the same divine blueprint. Think about it. The angel of the Lord showed up for both. They both sent spies into Canaan and got reminders about circumcision and Passover, and they both renewed Israel's covenant at the end of their ministries. Joshua and Moses are both types of Jesus. In Deuteronomy 18, Moses foretold God would raise a prophet like him that would speak to the people all that God commanded. Joshua appears to be that prophet, but only Jesus fulfilled his prophecy because he alone spoke to the Israelites all that God his Father commanded. Look up John 14:24. What's your relationship with Jesus who became flesh to reveal us his Father's saving will? There is a parallel between Joshua and Jesus. Joshua stepped into Canaan after 40 years. Jesus entered his earthly ministry after 40 days. Jesus got baptized in the Jordan River, symbolizing his crossing of the Jordan. Jesus is referred to as my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Look up Psalm 2. There, Jesus is literally referred to as the warrior who wages the wars of Yahweh to give us victory over our enemies and rest. Hence, the story of Joshua leading Israel to Canaan points to something greater. That is, through his death, Jesus, the antitype of Joshua, became the mediator of the new covenant and will take to heaven anyone who believes in him. Hebrews 9:15 backs this up. Jesus is leading us to our eternal inheritance. So instead of counting our minor misfortunes, let's focus on the blessings that far outweigh them. The wars Joshua fought are a symbol of the struggles we face today. Jesus will give us the eternal inheritance, but for now, just like Joshua, we're at war even while enjoying God's Sabbath. Look up Hebrews 4. Paul rightly reminds us to put on the armor of God in Ephesians 6. While we're waiting for Jesus to take us home, let's reflect his holy character. Look up 2 Corinthians 3:18. Does our daily life match the glorious hope we have in Jesus? Let's live like it does. Check out Christ Object Lessons, page 34-35, and Testimonies for the Church, volume 4, page 156. The Israelites failed to realize who Jesus was. That is the antitype of all their types, ceremonies, and rituals. They clung to their traditions like a security blanket during a late night storm even though a warmer, brighter comfort was right there. But are we any different? Are we not letting the world's traditions blind us too? Remember, God isn't scanning the crowd for perfect people. He's looking for obedient Christians who are ready to save some souls. So let's not miss this point. Don't forget to subscribe and join us for your weekly dose of holy homework.